Do not let the ember you lit become another grave in your chest. You began because something in you ached for more. More than the silence, more than the shadows, more than the comfortable numbness of a life half-lived. That hunger was holy. That spark was yours. It chose you in a moment when everything else felt ordinary, when the world seemed smaller than your dreams. Now you stand trembling, convinced the climb was a mistake. The voice in your head whispers poison. You're not good enough. This was foolish. Others have done it better. You're embarrassing yourself. Just quit while you still have dignity. Listen closely. The mountain only grows cruel when the summit is close. Despair sharpens its claws at the very edge of victory, for it knows the taste of completion will silence it forever. This is not coincidence. This is psychology. Your brain is hardwired to protect you from uncertainty, from risk, from the possibility of public failure. So when you're closest to breakthrough, it screams the loudest. When you're inches from transformation, it floods you with every reason to retreat, because your mind knows something you've forgotten. Completion changes you, and change, even good change, terrifies the part of you that craves safety. But here's what that voice won't tell you. If you abandon this now, it will not vanish. The quit will not bring peace. It will bring something far worse. The slow torture of knowing you stopped when you were so close that you could taste victory on your tongue. Unfinished things are parasites. They cling, they whisper, and they haunt. They will sit in the marrow of your days, gnawing on what you might have been. Every morning you wake up, there will be a shadow in the corner of your vision. Every time you look in the mirror, you'll see not just who you are, but who you almost became. The person who quits carries ghosts. The ghost of the book that was never finished. The ghost of the business that never launched. The ghost of the relationship that never got the fight it deserved. The ghost of the dream that was abandoned 3 steps from the finish line. And those ghosts don't fade. They multiply. Because once you teach yourself that quitting is acceptable, when things get difficult, you'll quit again and again, until quitting becomes your identity and starting becomes a cruel joke you play on yourself. But there's another path, the path of the finisher, the person who understands that completion is not just achievement, it's exorcism. When you push through the resistance, when you complete what you started despite every instinct screaming at you to stop, something profound happens. You don't just finish a project, you finish a version of yourself. The version that was afraid, the version that doubted, the version that believed other people's opinions mattered more than your own vision. Completion is a kind of exorcism. It casts out the demons of self-doubt, the spirits of what if, the haunting whispers of you're not enough. Every finished thing is proof that you are more powerful than your fear, more persistent than your pain, more committed than your comfort. But you have to understand the mechanics of why this matters. Society is built on unfinished things. Look around. Most people are walking museums of abandoned dreams. They started 100 things and finished 3. They have drawers full of half-written novels, hard drives full of unfinished songs, notebooks full of business plans that never saw daylight. And this creates a psychological prison. Because when you're surrounded by people who quit, quitting starts to look normal, acceptable, even wise. I'm being realistic, they say. I'm being practical. I'm protecting myself from disappointment. But what they're really doing is protecting themselves from greatness. Because greatness lives on the other side of completion, and completion lives on the other side of the moment when everything in you wants to quit. Think about the people you admire most, the ones whose work changed your life, whose art moved your soul, whose businesses transformed industries. What separated them from everyone else wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It wasn't connections. It was finishing. It was pushing through the valley of despair that exists between starting and completing. It was refusing to let the difficulty of the middle destroy the beauty of the end. The middle is where dreams go to die. The beginning is exciting. The end is rewarding. But the middle? The middle is where you discover what you're made of. It's where the voice gets loudest, where the resistance gets strongest, where every reasonable person would quit. And that's exactly why you can't, because reasonable people create reasonable lives. And reasonable lives are forgotten the moment they end. You didn't start this thing to be reasonable. You started it because something in you knew you were capable of more than reasonable. But if you press on, bloody, staggering, even crawling, you will bury the ghost. Not just the ghost of this unfinished thing, but the ghost of the person who believed they weren't strong enough to finish. You'll kill the voice that says you're not worthy of completion. You'll silence the part of you that thinks other people deserve success, but you don't. Every step forward when you want to step back is an act of self-respect. Every hour you invest when you want to walk away is a declaration that your dreams matter. Every moment you choose progress over comfort is you choosing the person you're becoming over the person you've always been. And here's the secret they don't tell you about finishing. The reward isn't just the completed thing. The reward is who you become in the process. The person who finishes hard things becomes someone who can start harder things. The person who pushes through resistance develops a different relationship with difficulty. They stop seeing obstacles as stop signs and start seeing them as training equipment. They stop interpreting struggle as evidence they're on the wrong path and start recognizing it as proof they're on a path worth traveling. Finish what you started, not because you owe the world, not because you fear regret, not because others are watching or judging or keeping score. Finish because the beginning was already your promise. A promise you made to yourself in a moment of clarity, in a flash of inspiration, in a surge of possibility. And to end it is to keep faith with yourself, to prove that when you say you'll do something, you mean it, to demonstrate that your word to yourself is stronger than your fear of failure. And when it is done, when you cross that finish line bloody and exhausted and transformed, the silence will not mock you. The voice that told you to quit will have nothing left to say. The doubt that poisoned your progress will evaporate like mist in sunlight. The silence will not mock you. It will bow. Because in that moment, you won't just have completed a project. You'll have completed the most important project of all. The project of proving to yourself that you are the kind of person who finishes what they start, who keeps promises to themselves, who turns dreams into reality through the simple, brutal act of refusing to quit. And once you know that about yourself, once you have that evidence carved into your soul, there is nothing you cannot accomplish, nothing you cannot complete, nothing you cannot transform from idea into reality. The ember you lit was never just about this one thing. It was about igniting the person you were meant to become. Don't let it die. Feed it, nurture it, and watch as it burns away everything that told you that you weren't enough. You are enough. You always were. Now prove it by finishing what you started.